I just did something I did not think you could do in any form of gig work, let alone rideshare. I attempted to drive for Uber for 24 hours straight. You heard that right. No leaving to get sleep at home, no spending time with my family and friends, no time wasted. So how was I able to even consider trying to pull this off? What issues did I face during this challenge? Was I even able to complete this challenge without anyone's health and safety at play? And most importantly, how much did we make? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Kian. If you're brand new, pronounced Kian. And before we can even get into the rules of this challenge, which we'll get into later, I have to explain to you all how my market actually works for this challenge. So without further ado, this is Delaware.
Delaware.
Oh my God!
Now, if that's too hard to pinpoint for you, just think of Philadelphia, which would be like up here somewhere, and go 45 minutes southwest of it. That is where my city of Wilmington, Delaware is. Hey, fun fact about Delaware. Delaware is the first state officially in the United States, and also one of the few states with no state income tax. Another fun fact about Delaware, actually, that's about it. But where I work, Wilmington is a pretty medium-sized city that's quite popular for the fact that a ton of businesses are HQ'd and incorporated in Wilmington, you know, to avoid paying as much in taxes as possible. You may have also heard of Delaware in the news because of Elon Musk's $55 billion bonus package from Tesla being denied by a Delaware judge, which, to be honest, is really funny. Okay, so all that aside, Central City Wilmington has been my primary place of work since the beginning of 2024. However, as I've now learned, Wilmington is painfully slow this time of year during the summer, and trying to consistently make even like $500 a week in Wilmington has become more and more of a chore these past few months. So I decided I wanted to shake things up. And another Uber content creator who surprisingly lives in and works in the same city that I do, so shout out to Truck Driver, I'll put his channel up here, recommended that I try driving out to the Delaware beaches for the summer weekends down here to truly see just how good a well-paying area can be for you. So for the last few weekends, I experimented with this region to try and mix things up. And I was shocked at how much better the pay was. For example, this right here is currently the lowest paying ride I have taken in the Delaware beaches. And in comparison, this is the lowest paying ride that I've taken in Wilmington. See the difference? I'll go more into detail about why the pay is so much better later, but I know you guys want to see the challenge start, so before we do that, let's talk about the rules. Okay, so the first rule is that I actually have to drive for rideshare, and Uber specifically, for 24 total hours. And I have a stopwatch on my phone that'll be tracking my progress in real time. So anytime I'm not actively waiting for a ride or online with Uber does not count towards the 24-hour period. Rule number 2, I am allowed to take breaks throughout the challenge, and honestly as many as I'll need necessary. But, as previously stated, the time on these breaks do not count whatsoever. And this is more of a clarification than a rule, but I am allowed to accept and decline any Uber rides I like. This isn't a taking every Uber ride for 24 hours straight challenge, because that may make me go insane. Plus, I already did a video in similar fashion, I'll link it up here. So let's talk about goals for this challenge, and at the time, at the very least, I set a baseline goal, the absolute minimum goal that I would accept to call this challenge a success, of $400 gross. But my primary goal, the goal I actually wanted to hit, was to net $500. And the difference between gross and net, just in case you're not familiar in this scenario, would be that the gross total is anything I make off of Uber or just any form of rideshare, anything like that, counts towards the total goal. But the primary goal with netting $500 means that by the end of the challenge, after all expenses have been considered and covered for, I would have to have $500 left over as my profit. Oh, and before I could officially start this challenge, there are two things I want to note. One is that I actually got a ride on the way down to the beaches, and the only reason I don't have the footage for this is one, I don't know where the footage went, and two, the rider canceled like directly after, like literally within seconds. So their problem, not mine. And the second thing, before I officially started this challenge, literally on the way to the Delaware beaches, all the way south, I witnessed a car crash happen literally 2 lanes away from me.
At the same time, I don't know. Oh my God. That guy just crashed his car. I just caught that on camera. That guy just crashed his car. Like, that guy literally just bumped into one of the other cars on the road and hit him.
So, I'll let you decide if that is something that has some deja vu coming into this challenge.
So once this hits 12:30, I'm going to go online. Oh, here we are, 12:30. So, ladies and gentlemen, the challenge begins in 3, 2, 1. We're online. There we go, clock started. And now, it's time to wait for rides.
So there's a few things you need to know about this market in comparison to my primary Wilmington/Philly market. I do not get upfront fares in this market. That means I do not see the amount Uber is offering me per ride. This may sound like a bad thing, but markets that don't have upfront fares usually pay way better than markets that do, like my primary market of Wilmington. I also don't get to see almost all of the details of the ride itself. The only things that Uber tells me about the ride offer is the passenger's rating, how far away the pickup spot is, the type of ride it is, and if there's any surge to it. So you may be asking why I'm willing to drive almost 2 hours down to the beaches for this market then. And that is where the sweetest part of this market really comes into play. Every single Uber ride offered to drivers in this market during the summer has a $5 seasonal surcharge, as they call it, added to the final price. This is where the money really comes in. If you are able to do enough rides, you can make some serious cash in a very quick time period.
Alrighty, y'all, quick update. It is just shy of 1 p.m. No ride offers yet, but I was able to do a couple of things. I was able to get some air in my tires. I was able to refill my drink. There was something else I was able to do. Oh, I was able to get a very much needed bathroom break. But whilst I haven't gotten any rides, I have gotten a reservation. It doesn't start until 1:45, but it's actually pretty far away. So I know this seems like a bad idea, but I also remember my first time being in this market being very, very slow around this time of day. So I'm actually going to take this reservation and I'm going to do the kind of slow drive. And the reservation itself is 46.77, 32 minutes, 15.9 miles. I think for the metrics, it's pretty good. And it's not like an hour-long ride, it's only a 32-minute long ride. And it keeps me in and around the area I kind of want to be in. So Uber just completely bullshit me out of a reservation. I have no idea what happened. I just got a notification saying that my 1:45 reservation was canceled because my current vehicle and status don't meet the requirements for this trip. It's an Uber X ride in my own market. I was online in time and they just canceled it just because. And even better, you're never gonna guess, yup, they didn't pay me for it. Well, this is a lovely start to this fucking 24-hour challenge. And in a very odd twist of events, I just got the reservation back. Well, they didn't add it back, excuse me. They gave it to me as an instant offer. So, I have no idea what's going on, but at the end of the day, I'm here. I'm gonna go do this reservation real quick. BRB. Alrighty, everybody, we are 1 hour in officially, actually about an hour and 1 minute in officially, and we still haven't technically made any money yet. That's because we're actually on our way to this reservation I just previously mentioned. But yeah, like I said, this reservation took up a bit of reserved time in my first hour.
Hello. I apologize for being here so early.
I've ridden in a Tesla yet.
Oh, you haven't ridden a Tesla?
So this will be a good experience.
Oh yeah, we'll have lots of fun.
And I'm like, Meg, this is too quick. So something isn't right. Right. So.
No problem. You guys have a lovely night. First reservation in Rehoboth done.
The challenge started in a way that I wasn't expecting it would start with, well, a reservation. And then another reservation. Okay, I know it doesn't sound like I have a lot to add about the first part of this challenge, but that's because for the first 4 hours of this challenge, I only got 3 rides, and all 3 of them were reservations. Now, whilst I'm not entirely complaining about that, because the reservations paid super well considering the fact, the pace of the day was much slower to start with than I had hoped it would be.
Alrighty, y'all, we are 6 hours into this challenge, and we finally have gotten an actual instant offer from Uber. 6 hours in. I know that sounds insane. Obviously, we had the 3 reservations to tend to, because like I'd be taking the Uber rides if I was getting them.
I took my second instant offer Uber ride of the night, and afterwards, I got a text from a previous Uber passenger. You see, I have these little business cards, I'll show one on screen, that are available to passengers if they would like to drive with me again. I don't offer them out personally, just for, well, security purposes, but the first Uber reservation and first official ride of the challenge needed a ride back from their trip to the Delaware beaches, or sorry, more specifically, the Delaware Beaches Ferry, so they asked if I would take them for the ride back. Now, I know what a lot of you are already commenting.
But Kian, this is an Uber challenge. If you do this ride, it's not an Uber challenge anymore.
And to that, I have a few things to say. One, this is still an Uber challenge. Relax. But I didn't specify that it had to be exclusively with Uber. Primarily because I know people like quality service, and I don't want to miss out on good paying opportunities because I wanted to restrict myself for a YouTube challenge. And number 2, you can go suck my dick.
They paid me $60 for it, which by Uber's fare, I only got paid like $46. So I already made more there, and they were very polite. They asked how they could tip me. I said, you guys have already paid for the ride. You already paid more than what Uber would have paid me for. Don't even worry about a tip. Plus, I had already taken them previously that day. So I just had my first ride decline of the night. It was this ride here, 22 minutes away, but it had the, pickup premium likely. But as we learned from one of our previous rides, that pickup premium seems to be garbage. So we're not going to trust that. And if the ride is like 20 minutes away or more, and it's not going a direction I want it to go, or it's like not in the market I want it to be in, I'm not even gonna bother. Alrighty, everybody, it is 2:12 a.m. right now. We are at the same amount. Literally, as I start recording, I got an offer. Perfect, because they're at Wawa, and guess who's also at Wawa? Literally me.
Alright, so all things considered, as the night closed and the demand died down, I went into 2 a.m. of this challenge with $410.51. Meaning my minimum goal had already been accomplished. And I still had another 12 hours to go. Now I know what a lot of you have probably been asking since the start of this challenge. Kian, how are you going to drive for 24 hours straight when Uber only allows you to be online physically driving for 12-hour intervals before they kick you offline for 6 hours? What are you even gonna do for those 6 hours? Sleep in your car? Yes. Yes, I am.
Alrighty, let's get set up. This would be a really bad time to figure out my air mattress doesn't work. Alrighty, well, it's inflated. And it's not crashing, so that's good. I think we're done. I am going to actually attempt to sleep now. I'm going to put the final panels on. Don't worry. And I just realized that my panel fell off. Great.
12 seconds later.
Good morning, everybody. It is, I think, around 8:30-ish right now. I check when I'm recording with my phone. I actually slept pretty okay, despite the fact I got like 4 hours of sleep, 4.5 hours. probably look like a fucking mess right now. Car setup. All things considered, not too bad. I think the thing that was throwing me off the most is just the fact that I'm in my car. It was just a little disturbing, because I was just worried, you know, like what if somebody comes up to the car? You know, what if like a tow truck comes and takes my car whilst I'm still in it or something like that? But like, you could actually see me. So, you know, if people were like, what's this guy doing? They could very quickly piece together, oh, he's camping out in his car. But yeah, I'm gonna get everything taken back apart. And once I have enough energy, or once our clock actually resets, excuse me, I still have to wait for the 6-hour period to 6-hour offline period to reset. So once that resets, we'll go back online and we'll get back to work.
It really does not show in the video, but the thought of sleeping in my car and my car getting towed or someone seeing me was just absolutely terrifying. I genuinely thought it was going to keep me up all night, so the fact that it didn't and I was actually able to get some sleep was kind of a miracle, all things considered.
Alrighty, y'all, we are about to go back online in 1 minute here. Actually, excuse me, we're about to go back online right now. I just wanted to make sure my car wash was actually properly done. We are online. Once again, you hear that click? That means we're online. It's 9:30 a.m., 196 miles on the car. Time to get back to work. And like clockwork, our first ride has already been offered to us. Let's get moving, guys. Alrighty, after what was probably like over an hour of just sitting and waiting, we finally got another ride, and we got a comfort ride.
That ride immediately went with some amazing news, because at 2:12 p.m., with a little more than 7 hours left in the challenge, I had officially grossed $500 total. And the good news didn't even stop there.
The last passenger that I just took also requested a personal ride from me. Like, had already requested and set it up before he had even left the car, and said he was going to pay me $100 cash just to take him down back from Ocean City, Maryland, and back to where I picked him up from originally, which was about a 40 minute ride.
The cash reservation went off without a hitch. The day was interrupted with a brand new problem.
As you can probably hear and probably see, it's raining, which I was so hoping we would be able to avoid the rain, but okay guys, 22 hours and 38 minutes in. We are currently still online. We're still online. I'm charging at the same time as waiting for rides because I can see that it is slowed down quite a bit up here, so I'm probably gonna grab something else. I know I have a couple fries here. I might grab something on top of that to eat, but I also may just hold out until the challenge is officially over and grab something heavy and celebrate with that on the way back down home.
So after the 2 rides I had just finished, I went to go charge my car for the final time in this challenge, because we had hit the home stretch. And as I took my next ride, I realized that there was only 1 hour left until the challenge was complete.
1 hour away from this challenge being completed. We are 23 hours in, and like clockwork, we have gotten our next ride literally right around the corner here, so let's get the final hour going. Looks like my wish came true. We got another ride. We're 5 minutes away. I have no idea where we're going, and I'm almost afraid to find out. So let's get what's likely going to be the last ride of the night done, ladies and gentlemen. 5 minutes left. 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes left.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, after a surprisingly fun and enjoyable day and a half of driving and working in the Delaware beaches, with over 24 rides to boot, the Uber 24-hour challenge was official.
And just when I thought I could finish the night without another ride, we got one more. I did want to film the moment that we actually hit 24 hours. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 24 hours. We did it.
Okay, now the challenge is complete.
We did it. 24 hours, 9:33 p.m. So we got one more ride. Let's knock it out of the park.
Thank you so much for the ride.
No problem. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Everything's clear. The 24-hour challenge is officially complete. Future Kian in the studio. Let's break down the numbers.
So I've already addressed some of the goals that we've hit during this challenge, but now I am going to give you all of the numbers so that you know how much I really made from this 24-hour challenge. So let's start with the gross total. Over the course of 24 online and worked hours driving for both Uber and doing some personal rides and reservations, and over the 33 total hours for this challenge, from all forms of income, including cash tips and personal reservations, I made a gross total of $823.41.
I absolutely popped off. I did so much better than I expected I was going to do. I think I set my baseline goal as like $400 gross, and we literally doubled that. Holy hell.
I hear you saying, yeah, you're right, commenter. You can delete that comment you were about to put in the comment section with the other 55 people that didn't get this far into the video and just wanted to find a way to complain, because I'm breaking that down too. So in terms of expenses, I surprisingly only spent $15.97 on food costs for the duration of this challenge. Now, I did pick up something to eat whilst on the way home, and I did have something to eat on the way down to the beaches before I started the challenge. But those expenses were of my own that weren't included in the challenge time, so I'm not including them in the challenge expenses. The largest cost was the $58.80 in the total charging costs throughout the 5 charging sessions throughout this challenge. That might sound like a lot considering the fact I have an electric car, and yeah, it kind of is, but I know some people are ready to tell me that's literally half a tank of gas for them, so I'm not going to complain. So if you take both of those expenses plus the $4.36 that Uber took for the optional insurance costs that I opt into, that adds up to $79.13 of total expenses, making my total net profit of all forms of income $744.28. So what did I learn from driving for Uber for 24 hours straight and over 33 hours total? Honestly, I learned the value of really spending every minute optimizing your time as an independent contractor with any side hustle that you're going to end up doing. I also learned that just because I made a lot of money from this challenge, over double what I was hoping to gross, all things considered, that doesn't mean it didn't come without an actual cost. And I'm not talking about like the expenses. We already covered that part. I mean the physical price that I had to pay for this challenge. I grinded this challenge out in a way that was incredibly unhealthy. I went from driving for Uber at 2 a.m. to charging my car, spending 45 minutes setting up my bed in the car, sleeping, getting up and putting everything away, getting my car washed, and going back to work immediately after. I gave myself no rest time other than the literal rest I had, because I knew that I had a challenge to do and there was money to be made. And with all that said, guys, that's the end of the video. The challenge was a success, and whilst it took a lot out of me physically, I learned so much throughout this challenge, and it was a valuable lesson in the trade-offs of physical health and monetary gain. But what did you guys think of the challenge? Would you want to see me try this again, but next time taking every single ride? I genuinely don't want to offer this, and I feel bad even putting this in my script. God damn it, Kian. But for now, here's 1 a.m. Kian, just after he got home from the challenge, to give you all the outro of your dreams.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see another video where I do another sort of challenge to figure out if it's worth it, go check out my last video where I found out whether or not being an Uber Pro driver was actually worth the time and effort. And of course, thank you all so much for the support. It's always appreciated. And stay cool. We did it.